$539.27 are our costs on that.
That's our
That's where I would start.
All right. 539. 27 cents.
Plus the 30.
Plus the 30.
Correct.
So that 30 will be something that they pay just to record it, right? So,
Yes. Yeah.
But actually we need $539.27 will be the new opening bid. 500 and we got 539.27. All right. We got one bid there at 539.27. Do we have 600?
Maybe just on the outside.
Do we have 600? Mr. Spire, you thinking a little bit? No? Okay. All right. 539.27 going once, going twice, and sold. Nice. Get your name right here. Okay. You got that, Cindy?
What was the last name?
Adler?
Okay.
All right. One more, and then we'll get on to the rest of our commission meeting here. Lake Township. It's the west 49.5 feet of the north 39 feet of the south 1,650 feet of the west 275 feet, except the west 16.5 feet of the northwest quarter. The northwest quarter of Section 24, Township 117 North, Range 53, west of the 5th PM. The lot size is approximately 0.03 acres. It is located near the 2418 Sioux Conifer Road. It's located near 2418 Sioux Conifer Road. Assessed as non-ag. Last assessment value was $484. There are no structures on the lot. Tax deed issued to Cottington County on 11/15/2017. This is record number 19346. Do we have an opening bid of $50? Do we have an opening bid of $50? What's that?
That's as low as we'll go.
$50.
There are $344.66 in costs due on this one.
We're already below what we should be asking, it looks like.
There's no strings attached to that one.
I believe it's part of somebody's driveway. Are you familiar with it? Okay, then.
My driveway.
All right.
Okay.
There are
Be a good $50.
The opening bid is
Anything with it anyways.
The opening bid is $50 plus a $30 recording fee.
Clears up a lot of ears.
Yep. And then we have $50. You'll take it for 50? All right. Anybody else? 50, going 60? One, going twice, sold for $50. Can I get your name? Honeyman? Honeyman. And the two properties that didn't sell, we're gonna send something out later?
They can contact the auditor's office, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Appreciate that.
The treasurer's office. You'll go to the treasurer's office. Ashley, do you want to take these with you?
You need a bank check, you say?
Cashier's check?
Cashier's check.
Bank check by
Yep.
3 p.m. today.
Or official bank check?
Yep. Yep.
How did you spell your last name?
That's Sam, it's Paul,
Okay.
You want to sell your lot?
Do you want to take those with you? Those are the ones that sold? Okay, thank you.
Go take a look at it.
All right. I believe we will move on to our monthly reports, and Extension will not be able to make it today, so we'll go with Al in the Veteran Service Office.
Good morning, Al.
Good morning.
Morning, Al.
How's everybody?
Good, thank you.
Okay. Last month on month of April, we had
Push the button.
That little one down there, there you go.
Last month, for the month of April, we had 82 appointments, walk-ins, which is really good considering all the bad weather we had. We had 6 trips to Sioux Falls with 13 riders. Memorial Day program's coming up toward the end of the month, on the 24th, I believe it is. Or 27th, excuse me. And Mount Hope Cemetery will be at 10:30, St. Mary's at 9:45, and the Veterans Memorial out at City Park will be at 2:30.
What time did you say St. Mary's, 9:45?
9:45, yes.
And then 2:30 out at the park.
Right.
Okay.
And Pope Francis is the guest speaker that day.
Who's the speaker?
Wow, how did you do that? I'm just like,
I was going to say, how many people caught that?
I'm looking at you.
Yeah. I'll be there.
I think we'd fill the place up.
Yeah, we would. Hundreds and thousands of times over. This Thursday, I will be in Sioux Falls for training, which I put in my request for. And we've got a scheduling conflict in our office because Peggy has a medical appointment that same day, and she cannot get that changed. So I'm asking if we can close the office on Thursday because of that. We'll make note to the newspaper and to the radio stations.
Right, and then leave a note on your door,
Yep.
contact the
Right on the
auditor's
machines.
office.
Yep.
I guess
Right on
I'm
the
okay
machines.
with that.
Yeah, I'm
I
okay.
mean, we have prior, I mean, there's,
Okay. And that's all I have. Any questions of you folks?
Sometimes we have conflicts.
Sometimes we do.
You bet. No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks, Al.
I've got one question for you, Al.
Yeah.
It's not really related to this. I was out at the cemetery yesterday, and where we have the Confederate graves out there.
Yes.
Do you know what they did with the old cannon?
Oh, no, I don't know. Did they move it?
It's not there anymore.
Is it really? Okay. I'm not sure if
I mean,
they're getting
I
it.
didn't, I know it's not your department, but I
Yeah,
was just.
I haven't heard anything. I know we will be planting flags out there too on all the Veterans Memorial, not only in the Veterans section, but throughout the whole cemetery, and also at St. Mary's also. So you should see about 2,000 or 3,000 flags out there over the weekend, so
Nice.
that'll be nice. Okay?
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is action to approve the 2019 County and Consolidated Board of Equalization minutes. 7. Oh, extensions aren't coming. I already
Okay.
mentioned that, but
Okay,
she's not
sorry
here
about
today.
that. Missed it.
And we'll need to take these in 2 separate actions. We'll take the county minutes first and then a consolidated.
All right, so I'm entertaining a motion on the County Board of Equalization minutes.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, that motion carries. Now we'll look for approval of the Consolidated Board of Equalization minutes.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, that motion carries as well. We will move on to number 8, action to approve the purchase of a vehicle for the Director of the Equalization Office. Shauna, you want to give us a little explanation? Good morning,
We are
Shauna.
in need of a new vehicle, well, a different vehicle, not new by any means. But we found a small SUV, about the smallest that we could find with an all-wheel drive, because the girls are going to be out in the county for the next foreseeable future. And the current vehicle that they have is just having way too many issues, and it's in the shop way too often. So we'd like to trade that off and then purchase this. Total price, all fees included with the trade-in, is $9,559.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase.
All right, you said, we got a motion and a second. What'd you say, 9,500?
$9,559.
Shauna, which vehicle are we trading in?
The Mariner.
Okay.
So next thing on your agenda.
Yep.
This is a budgeted item.
I thought that was a boat loader.
Oh, it's our It's our vehicle.
Okay, it's a Mercury mirror. All right, yeah.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. All right, then action number 8, to approve the Number 9, declare the 2008 Mercury Mariner surplus to be traded.
I'll make a motion to declare that surplus.
It's not a vote? Okay. All
It's
in-
not a vote.
Any further discussion?
Who was the second?
Lee.
No, it's Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Second by Charlie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries as well. All right.
Get her done.
Thank you, Shauna.
Shauna.
Action number 10, to approve an out-of-county inmate contract with Day County. Cindy, you want to give an explanation?
This is similar to the contracts that we have with Clark, Grant, Hamlin, Jewel. Occasionally, Day needs a place for an inmate, so I don't believe we do a lot of business with them, but it's an
We
option.
don't do a whole lot of business with them, but they did reach out to me.
Yeah.
Occasionally they want to house, they may do a lot of different overflow. And then depending on where we're sitting, I don't see a problem with it, so that's why I said from the contract.
Is that $85 per day in the contract?
They do have their own facility, don't they?
They do have their own facility.
16 beds. The backup. Yeah, we're the
All right, before we do any further discussion, I should get a motion and a
make the
second
motion.
on that. Okay.
So moved.
Motion by Gable, second
I'll second.
by Van Dusen. Any further discussion?
Just to highlight, the $85 cost that's an increase from what we had been charging over what the past year was 75. So this is
It is the same as our other contract.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Just to
Those that we
highlight
previously
yeah. So we
approved.
yeah, the ones we've recently approved.
Right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries as well. All right, item number 11, action to authorize the chairman and auditor to sign an alternatives to juvenile detention sub-grant application and an accompanying letter of support. Lee, I'm guessing you have that info.
Yeah. So thank you, Madam Chair. Could
call
we have
Liz and-
Liz
Yes,
and Lewis
please.
come up from the Boys and Girls Club? So just to give some background on this, GDAI stands for the Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative, and Cottington County is one of a few counties within the state that are participating. Minnehaha, Davison, and Pennington are some of the others. But so we have an opportunity for a grant, and the idea behind the whole thing is basically to provide alternatives to incarceration when there is a juvenile offender. The other thing that's been going on in the meantime is in the diversion world is teen court. So that's been something that the Boys and Girls Club have handled for years, and it's been a very beneficial thing. So, but at the same time, do you want to maybe pick up from there, Liz?
Yeah, thank you. So this is a grant put out by the Department of Corrections from the state, about $60,000 per year. You can apply for year 1 and then have an option to renew for years 2 and years 3. So what we've kind of proposed is to enhance the county's juvenile detention alternatives initiatives in Cottington County. The county is our sponsor, or I guess our applicant for this grant, and what the grant consists of is a full-time position that will be contracted or housed at the Boys and Girls Club as part of our slate of services. The position will be 3 responsibilities: JDAI coordination for the entire county, so that would be the lead person that would lead all of the JDAI activities in Cottington County. Secondly, as Lee mentioned, diversion services for youth, including the teen court program. We currently operate the teen court program, but have had some challenges recently with funding, so this was a good solution to be able to still offer the comprehensive teen court program. And thirdly, the person, the full-time position, which we're calling a youth diversion coordinator, would work with case management, referrals, and data collection. So really we see it as a very successful, I guess, partnership between what the Boys and Girls Club, what we're experts in already doing with youth, that this would continue the services on, just in a little bit different manner, but be a consistent person, place, and program that we can be providing the youth in the county.
Can I just interject
Yeah.
one thing? Just so people don't think that like any juvenile offender gets an alternative. I mean, there are times when they still have to be incarcerated. And what's driving this is, was about roughly 2 years ago, the Unified Judicial System had pretty much all the counties when a juvenile is arrested, you apply what's called a risk assessment instrument. That's kind of a questionnaire. It's subjective. They're not asking the youth. They're checking the background of the youth offender to say what, and then the score is given on this questionnaire. And a lot of times they have to do certain very serious things to score to be incarcerated in jail. Other times, you want, because of the damaging effects of incarceration on juveniles, we want to be able to apply alternatives. So we have this risk assessment instrument that's telling us to, provide an alternative to incarceration for youth, but a lot of times the alternative is not there. So what this grant is doing is helping us fill that in so that we can build some alternatives. And we're very fortunate to have the Boys and Girls Club here in town to help us do that. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's...
No, that's is my microphone.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's. Oh, go ahead.
Did you introduce yourself?
I do.
it's on.
My name is Louis Canfield, Director of Operations with the Boys and Girls Club. And yeah, you guys spelled out exactly what the grant is. I just wanted to add that it's no additional dollars, obviously, to the county. It's completely pass-through dollars for the grant. We would request reimbursement from the grant anytime funding is due.
So there are some administrative things that I think we've talked about with the auditor, probably more to talk about. So you pay the person, bill, and get reimbursement from the county, then the county seeks reimbursement from the DOC in this case. So.
And in addition to that, we'd also ask the county to be involved in the process as far as hiring the right person. Other than that, the Boys and Girls Club is going to handle, it will be treated as a Boys and Girls Club employee. They'll go through all the trainings, the processes, update the commission as needed, but it should be very limited for the commission.
Right, this is typical. We've done this with LATI and different things before, so.
So as a Boys and Girls Club employee, the insurance and everything would fall on the Boys and Girls Club for this employee?
That is
The county would
correct.
have no liability in that?
No, correct. That'll all be covered under the Boys and Girls Club, and the dollars for that will be covered under the grant as well.
Okay. I'll make a motion to authorize the chairman and auditor to sign that.
Do I have a second to that?
Okay, I think we need to make a substitute motion, or do I second and then make a substitute motion maybe?
For what?
Well, because we need to amend that. We do need to note
And we also need to note that the chairman is absent, so it will be the vice chair that is signing both the letter of support and the grant document.
Okay, well, my motion would be to have the vice chair.
Okay.
And
then,
who did the second on that?
I'll second that. But we do need to have a discussion on there's a portion of this thing that in addition to what we described. So as we're going through this, we had a discussion with the sheriff about that's on page 2, Arise, under letter B, contracted services, and there's $5,500 apportioned for reimbursement for Arise, and that would be if a stay were to exceed 1 week. So in talking to the sheriff, though, that this particular thing, looking at the sustainability of it, I don't know if you feel free to come on up, Sheriff, if you want to make it, amplify this. But essentially, while this would reimburse for the stay, so it's $230 a day if a juvenile ends up in Arise in Sioux Falls, which is it's one of the alternatives that would be on the menu, so to speak. Still there. But this wouldn't cover all the costs. This is essentially the concern, particularly personnel costs with staffing issues. So I think after discussing this with the sheriff, we'd like to remove that part of the grant, and so that would affect that part in B, and then also on, there's another.
Lee, just for clarification in here, if that is left in there, does that mean that we have to spend that? I mean, if it's money that's not touched, we don't, so why would we remove it?
There's no dollars in there
6,500.
It's reimbursed, yeah, it is reimbursement.
But not under the Arise, that's on the other part. On the bottom is the Arise?
This
Oh, mine
part,
shows something different.
5,500 and 1,000. Oh, I don't have that part on mine.
Yeah.
For a certain amount, and you don't use that amount.
It's the one that we handed out today. I'm looking at the new one.
Okay, so
Yeah, you can.
Troy wasn't, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, are you okay with that? Is that,
That's the
I
one
mean,
that
leaving?
got handed out. Well, maybe not. I
Okay.
take that back.
So the sheriff was explaining, I think, correctly how this would work. So, say if we used all that up, we could go back and ask for more. If we don't spend it, it goes.
You're right. I was going after this.
that's the old one? Okay.
No, this is the new one.
The one with the yellow highlight is the original
Yeah.
that we got, and then I got a new one today.
Yeah.
So the question remains, I guess, Lee, I didn't hear what you said there, but if we were to leave that in there, that's not going to affect the grant, right? If that's money that's
I
not
do want to comment on that because here's a message I received from Annie Broken Lake. She's the statewide JDI coordinator. Her comment is one thing to keep in mind, asking for money for shelter care might make the application stronger because it shows Cottington County is committed to seeking alternatives to detention options like shelter care. This portion also makes the section JDAI section stronger as well. So I am a bit concerned that it will weaken the application. I do understand where you're coming from, Sheriff, though, that we don't want to put dollars in there and then not use them because we write a lot of grants, and when we don't use dollars, it isn't a great thing. So I completely respect your thoughts on that, and I don't want to hold you to spending dollars that you aren't budgeting for to send youth. So I'd like to have another discussion with you maybe before we make a final decision, because I don't want to hurt our opportunities for the grant. So is there a way we can proceed?
Yeah, we can maybe make a motion to, can we make a motion to postpone? If we have a motion and a second to postpone to the end of the meeting to,
Will that give you enough time to have that conversation?
If
Like-
you're around, yeah, if you've got time, I'd love to chat. Yep, that'd be great.
So then,
Okay, so do I,
We've got a motion on the floor, they can go have their discussion,
Okay,
come back
we'll just
again,
pick it up,
and
okay.
then we'll pick it up from there.
Okay.
We don't need a motion to postpone.
Okay.
We're going to do
Alright.
it all right today.
we just talk about this part here. I just noticed the language
all right.
where that right there. So, just look at it.
But we think it's a great partnership. This is kind of an innovative model, something that I think will be a win-win situation for the county, for the youth, for the Boys and Girls Club. It just makes sense. And so it's kind of a pilot program. The year one is going to be, kind of an experiment, and we'll learn a lot, but I think it will be very valuable to all involved.
Right.
absolutely. We like our partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. You guys have done great things, and we look forward to working with you in the future on projects. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
All right. Okay, so then we will move on to number 12, action to approve the purchase of a backhoe as a budgeted item for the highway department.
I'll make the motion to approve that purchase.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Gable and
The sheet that you have, that I gave you, was what the backhoe cost, and that is through Sourcewell.
Is it this one?
Yep.
Okay.
There should be another sheet with it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's,
Yep.
yeah.
Sourcewell is they bid from soup to nuts. Like Caterpillar, there was a list of what they had. It's already been bid. I'm just buying off the bid. It's a national organization out of the cities, and it's not just machinery. It's a lot of different things. The city right now is purchasing a compactor for the landfill off Sourcewell. One of the other superintendents in South Dakota just bought a paver off it. And I'd like to purchase this backhoe off it.
So these two pieces go together, right?
Yes, yep.
so in the future then, this is going to be another opportunity for you to be able to, if something comes up.
Yep.
So do we need to approve that as another?
motion should be is to approve the purchase of a backhoe from the source well competitive bids allowed by South Dakota Department of Legislative Audit. Because there is something in statute that allows us to do this.
Then, okay, then I can make that motion, so to purchase from Sourcewell as allowed by the
Okay.
South Dakota Legislative
Sounds
Audit.
Yeah.
For this amount, so this, and the amount we're talking about is $122,000,
Yes.
$122,570.05.
And the
that's-
dealer we're buying from
In Sioux Falls.
located.
Yep, Butler.
But the purchase goes through Sourcewell.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah.
Yeah.
See, we're a member. Rick Small created an account a while ago, and Cottington County is a member. The Highway Department, and I'm not sure about the rest of the county, if that would work to buy off that same, that's something that we'd have to check,
Yeah,
But-
like Memorial Park or
Did
things
you ever
like
find
that.
out how many other counties have taken advantage? I know Beagle County has taken advantage of this.
And I'm not sure exactly how many other counties
Okay.
have taken advantage of it, but it's a national, it's kind of like our state bid buying off that, but it's just national. So,
So you have more, it goes further out or
yeah,
whatever.
it goes a lot further out, so.
And did you guys,
Motion from
Yep,
me.
motion, do we get a second?
I'd second.
Okay, motion by-
These bidding off the sheet.
Waterman, any further discussion?
Rick, I have a couple of questions. The first one is this a budgeted item?
Yes.
For us, I hope?
Yes.
Okay. And then secondly, the 7-year warranty down at the bottom, that total figure there of $122,570.05
That's
is,
included in that.
that's machinery and the warranty included? Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay, so the price of the machinery is $109,444.05, is that
Yes.
correct? And those others
Our attachments
add
that
up- do they add up to the warranty or not?
No, those are attachments
Okay.
that go with the machine.
Okay, and the warranty is just a part of it?
All
Yeah.
total with the attachments and the machinery and warranty is $122,570.05. Okay.
What are we gonna do with the old one?
Well, hopefully we can trade it in on it. They're supposed to come and look at it, and give us a price. If not, it'll be surplus auction.
Then we'll need to take action if we do trade in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm still waiting for them to come and look at it, because I just got this last week, so.
All right.
Do we have to make a motion to that effect, or?
We'll do it after we know if they're gonna,
Yeah,
if it's cost worthy for us to do a trade, I guess.
Yeah, it depends on what they give me.
What they
for it.
want to give us, yeah. Then we'll take that action. Okay.
All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 12, item number 13, note the emergency purchase of the 4-inch pump for the highway department. Rick, you want to give us a little background on that?
Our old 4-inch water pump was a 1962.
I was born that year.
So that the video can capture you.
Our old pump was a 1962 with a Wisconsin engine on it. It pretty much served its purpose. It was a good pump, but this spring, our 4-inch and our 2-inch pump blew up, so I had nothing. And that's why I called you guys, except for Troy last week, about purchasing an emergency purchase on the water pump. And I found one in Sioux Falls and I bought it. So,
It's kind of one of those things that, we can't control how, with Mother Nature and equipment.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, Madam Chair. I was just asking what did you say what the cost was?
It's on 32,275.
That's what's written, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Now, we were talking about that, and this had to come up, but really fast, because with Jim and the last day, we put this on a FEMA, on the hopes of FEMA's gonna help us pay.
hopefully because we were pumping water from the runoff to help alleviate problems, so hopefully we'll be able to recoup some of that money.
By making that submission deadline.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
But there's no guarantee of it.
Yeah,
But you still, you need to pump.
Yeah, because we had nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So there's no action needed because it's already been
been
done, but
approved.
Should note it in our minutes that it's
Right.
an emergency purchase.
Yeah. Yeah, I was born in 1962 and I grew up in Wisconsin. I just wondered.
do you want the old pump?
You're about due to be replaced, too.
I'm not going to say when I was born, but I said it came over on the Mayflower.
Okay, now, that's equipment old, not person old, so.
Yeah.
That's pretty old for a pump, so.
Yeah, it's done its job.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to item number 14, action to authorize the hiring of a seasonal worker for the highway department.
We need somebody to mow grass, clean the shop, do odd and end things. It won't be a 40-hour work week per se, it just depends on what's going on. But I need someone as to pulling one of the guys off to mow grass or clean the shop as needed, so.
And we have done this in
Yep.
previous years.
And it's a budgeted item also.
This is an ongoing thing every,
Yes.
Yep.
So I would look for a motion and a second. Motion by Gable, second Waterman. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries also. All right, one more. Looks like action to authorize the chairman to sign a contract with Sharp Electric for the Highway Department pole building project.
And this will change to vice chair when you make your motion since Myra is not here today.
All right, Vice Chair.
This is just the third contract. We've already gotten the other two taken care of.
Yes,
Sharp, this is Sharp Electric.
yep, it was.
Is that a Hayti?
Zach Whiff and Crestone Builders already have signed theirs.
Third contract for that project.
Yep. All right.
make the motion.
Motion by Gable. Do I have a second by Waterman? Any discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries as well. All right.
Good job, Rick.
I think we have everything done for you. Thanks for coming. Moving on to item number 16, discussion and possible action to approve the purchase of security cameras in front of the courthouse, and it's not a budgeted item. So Milo or Cindy, I'm not sure who's all going to explain this. Probably Milo.
Milo's going to explain it.
Good morning.
Good morning, Milo.
Okay, this project is for security cameras on the outside of the courthouse. Bringing this to you actually at the request of the board a while back. We did apply for a Homeland Security grant to cover these costs, and we were turned down for that. So now we're here, or I'm here with an estimate of $3,136.74 to add 3 exterior cameras to the courthouse. Part of this, you know, is for, or I guess the driving force behind this is security.
This is the attachment that you sent me with that. Is this the wrong one?
1,479?
Yeah, you
Is
said
what I
that
have.
attachment.
This is for courtroom.
Oh, okay, I grabbed the wrong one, apparently.
So we have two on or just
Well,
one?
these don't.
Yeah,
the ones that we
the
have-
attachment I sent to Cindy was
interior.
for courtroom.
Yeah, I see it's 2 cameras for the...
Yeah, this looks interior. That one you're talking about is exterior.
And this, what I have here is 3 exterior cameras to the courthouse.
In the amount of what?
$3,136.74. Like I said, the driving forces behind this request is when we had our little artist work that was done outside of the front of the courthouse. It would have been.
Okay. And there are other benefits to having that out there as well.
So it's just a security thing. I do need to point out, this is not something that was in the budget for this year. Currently, I can cover it, but you know, there's a possibility if everything else came to be that we had planned for, you know, we would have a shortfall,
Right. We have commissioner contingency, and this really is a benefit for the courthouse as a integrity of it. So.
I'll make the motion. to go
Motion by
ahead.
Gable, do we have a second?
I'll second. I'll second it.
All right, have a second by Van Duzen. Any further discussion?
We've got $3,000 we're going to spend because we had vandalism one time.
Correct.
I can't go along with that.
I support the purchase. I believe in video cameras. I think it's a good thing to have security on the exterior portion of our courthouse. We have a lot of money invested in our property here, and we have had an incident of vandalism. I don't know what it costs to fix that, but with personnel cleaning that off the building and everything else, I can't imagine that it was cheap.
And I know we don't want to just, I'm sorry.
But, I would like to see some more foresight with stuff like this so that we're not pulling it out of contingency funds in the future. And I know we asked you to go back and research this. We didn't anticipate the vandalism. But it would be nice if we could budget for stuff like this in the future instead of pulling it out of contingency funds. That's not your fault, Milo. It's just how it happened. So that's my thoughts on it.
That's Madam Chair, just to piggyback on what Commissioner Van Duzen said.
I can appreciate, Troy, your concern for security cameras and the use of them. However, the times that I've had to use them, they were not good at apprehending nobody, and we had very good pictures.
We have apprehended a lot of people using security footage, and we're not going to be able to apprehend them if we don't, chances are. And Lewis can tell you the importance of security cameras at the Boys and Girls Club, and so I support it.
Madam Chair, just if I could interject, there's, in addition to what Commissioner Van Duzen said, there's a lot of, I think what you're alluding to, there's a lot of additional benefits besides just dealing with vandalism to having security cameras. So,
If this was a budgeted item, I would support it, but it's not.
Are we done? Are we ready to call? I think we'll call the roll on this, Cindy.
Gable.
Aye.
Waterman.
No.
Johnson is absent. Van Duzen.
Aye.
And Hanson.
Aye. All right.
That's 3-1 in favor.
That will pass then. We will move on to item number 17, action to approve chip seal at Memorial Park.
Okay, this is a project that was in the budget for Memorial Park. I have a price for seal coating the west section of the park at a total, I'm sorry, I don't have that totaled up, $16,294. Is that the amount that I've given you, Cindy?
Yeah, that's on here, Milo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it totals up to be.
204 with an option of 1,090. Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll do the sweep.
This is something that's actually critically needed out there to protect the integrity of our road. Unfortunately, there's a number of other repairs that will go along on top of this, but hopefully this will keep our costs down in the future, keeping things stuck together. So that is at a price of $15,204 with an option of $1,090 to sweep the excess chips off the surface. The county, we don't have the equipment available to do that. So it's just part of the whole project. I did run this by Rick at the highway shop and asked his opinion if this was a fair, if he felt this was a fair price, and he agreed that it was.
I happened to be out there the other day and driving through the park, and that road is in tough shape. Winter has not.
It was a hard winter.
Winter has not been good.
Right. So I would look for a motion and a second to approve that.
I'll make it. Go ahead. Quick.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Is this a budgeted item?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Now we will move on to number 18, action to approve patch and road repairs at Memorial Park.
Okay, this goes hand in hand along with the chip seal. This would be repair work where our road is actually falling to pieces out there. We